Welcome. We are live. Oh, did you like that, Alex? Oh wow. What's up? The fuck today? Good to see you. It is. It is. Let's see something here. Okay, Alex, I need you to talk. I think that I forgot to unmute you.
Oh my.
Nice. Hello, Mr. Denon. How are you across the pond this evening?
All right. Yeah, everything is sounding good on my end.
Good, good.
But as I was saying, the fuck today, that is the ultimate retail name. Like I respect it so much.
Yeah, it's appropriate. We'll just.
Steve, you remember when I would come into Felmart? I'd be like, "What's up, Steve? How are you doing today?" And you'd be like, "Same shit, different day."
Well, yeah, because it is. It was a day that ended in Y in retail. It doesn't change. It just becomes.
Hilariously enough, in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, I would play the SSDD mission, and I didn't know what that meant like at all because I was kind of a square back in those days. And when Steve would say "same shit, different day," I finally put it in my head what that meant.
My other favorite was OTSS. I learned that from the movie Dazed and Confused. Only the strong survive. So that
Semper Fi.
or another one that I learned from Viva La Bam, Dilligaff. Do I look like I give a fuck?
Oh, these are all your retail terminology, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, it is.
Steve, can you tell us about what we're going to talk about tonight and the Reddit poll that we put out?
Yes. All right. So a little bit of housekeeping right here, real quick. Tonight we are going to be talking about the wonderful world of retail credit cards and rewards cards, which are kind of like herpes. It's bad. If I had a quarter for every day, yeah, you'd be rich. You sure would. Anyway, so like we said on the last episode, we did create our own subreddit over on the wonderful world of Reddit land. If you have not been there, go check it out. Join the sub. It's meant to be community driven. It's not meant to be just me sitting there posting stuff all day long. You know, I want stories. I want input. I want, rants and raves and all this other stuff. For tonight's episode, I did do a poll. But before we get to the poll results, and we'll talk about what we're doing next week. Monday is going to be kind of a laid back, just kind of let's chat, Q&A. If you guys want to ask us questions or you want to give us suggestions or you want to ask about topics or whatnot, it's not content specific. It can be about anything. It can be anything from retail to, Elon Musk's rocket exploding today on the landing pad. So, whatever we want to talk about. But the episode on Wednesday is going to be a big deal. Going to be kind of controversial. Wednesday's episode on the Retail War Zone, we're going to talk about the wage gap between genders in retail and also venture into harassment, sexual harassment, and those kind of things, and what women have to deal with on a day-to-day basis in the business. It's important. It's something that needs to be talked about. And, I told a friend of mine yesterday, why does retail get a pass? Because when you do the research, retail is about the number one offender, and at least in the top 3 for those things, because retail still has quite an entrenched good old boy network that's really, really hard to crack. So if anybody from Reddit or if anybody that watches us anywhere wants to participate in the chat next week, I would just make sure that whatever platform that you are on, make sure you're using an account that will disguise your real name You know, we want everything to be anonymous and whatnot. We don't want anybody to get any kind of trouble because we know what kind of vindictive people there are out there in the world. So, having said that, the topic of the evening, we did a poll, and basically the poll was, do you think your employment and how good of an employee you are should be judged on how many credit cards you get? Well, you know, I put this thing up late, and like I said, we're growing over there. We're just only sitting at 17 members in the Reddit right now. However, there were 18 people that voted. 17 said no. And then there was one sadist in the bunch who decided that, yeah, it should matter. So, having said that,
either A, they work for corporate,
right?
Or
it's very possible. And, you know, another thing I want to throw out there real quick, I know we talk a lot of negative shit about retail and whatnot, and, you know, that comes with many years of being in it, but there are people out there who have a great time with it, and they love it, and hey, you do you, and that is great. If you're able to maintain that throughout your entire retail career, you deserve some kind of award. However, eventually there comes a point in time when you work in retail management, especially, that you realize how unethical everything you were asked to do is, and it just kills you as a person. So, but if you like it, hey, cool. I'm all for positive stories too. Tell us why the place you work is so great. Awesome. You know, we could have worked at one of those places and our experience not been that good. So who knows? But anyway, so let's get into this credit card mess. First thing I want to do is I want to throw something up on the screen. I did some research today, and well, first off, Alex, I thought I was right about this to begin with, but I wanted to do the research to make sure. And, you know, if anybody out there knows differently, because I can't find any record of anything earlier. But Alex, would you care to guess who was the first retailer to introduce a credit card?
I will take a guess on that in one moment. One of these comments caught my attention. I've been doing it since I was 16. I hate Christmas more and more every year. You're going to hate Thanksgiving. I hate that too, simply because of Black Friday. But if I had to take a wild guess on the first retailer to do a credit card, do you want me to use a code name?
Nope.
Or do you want me to use
like
the real
name? Use the real name.
I'm going to say Walmart.
You're incorrect. Mr. Denon and Hero have it correct. It was Sears. Sears actually introduced the Sears Discover card at the Super Bowl in 1986.
Nice.
And then at that point in time, you know, as they progressed, they eventually sold off Discover, and Discover became its own thing. But now we live in a world where the company that started the first retail credit card has about 70 locations worldwide. So that's worked out real well for them.
Well, it's mainly because Sears doesn't know how to... We discussed it on a couple of episodes back. I believe it was last episode, as a matter of fact. They don't exactly know how to budget out their money too well.
No. And like I said, that Hoffman Estates bullshit is something else.
And imagine how many people went into credit card debt.
That's right, Jason. You did work there too. That's correct. I remember you telling me that now. But I'm going to throw this up real quick. I found this. This was on medium.com, and it was just talking about different things in retail they hated, and this was credit card specific. Pushing store credit card. I once went to buy some golf shirts at Kohl's. When I was checking out, the cashier asked if I would be putting this purchase on my Kohl's charge card. I stated that I would be paying cash. I was then asked if I had a Kohl's charge card. When I replied that I did not, the cashier proceeded to explain, at length, the savings and benefits of having a Kohl's charge card. I declined several times before being able to complete my sale. I would appreciate a business that rewards me in savings regardless of whether I use a store charge card or not. Additionally, none of these pitches for charge cards are in the customer's best interest. They are purely in interest of the business. Marketers know that a person is more willing to part with money he has not yet earned than with earned cash sitting in an account. This psychological concept is called hyperbolic discounting. The 15 to 20% off coupons Kohl's regularly sends out only reinforce this tendency, and it all seems great until your bill arrives at the end of the month. You don't really cash in on savings with these cards, you just spend more. The store credit card also allows the company to gather more data on you, your shopping habits, your personal information, so they can better target you in their marketing efforts. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. You know, I look at it kind of like my biggest beef with credit cards is having great employees that corporate uses a credit card metric to keep them from getting raises. That's some bullshit. I mean, it's a 50-50 option. You know, there are situations where I have watched people for hours on end pitch a credit card every single time. They not get one. They were doing their job, but because they didn't get that one or whatever they're supposed to get for the day, oh, you suck as an employee. That's bullshit. 100%. And corporations like to give you the following spills. You know, when you enter into a retail experience where you're a manager and you're all of a sudden thrown into the credit card world, you get to hear things like, oh, well, they did market studies when they launched a card that show if you ask every single customer every single time, they'll get X amount of credit cards. That's a lie. It's not true. Or, you know,
well, it's like they're assuming the same customer. It's like they're assuming the same customer just takes and yeets their credit card out the window, and you get different customers every day.
Well,
like if you get different people every day, maybe, but for the most part, in a smaller store is going to be a lot of regulars, and more than likely they already have your reward program or your charge card program, and they're not just coming in as new customers.
No, they're not. And a lot of people find it harassing. The last place I worked that did credit cards, they were like, well, your employees need to make this customer say no 3 times. Why? I mean, it's at that point, I mean, it's like, it's harassment, really and truly. And it really flies in the face of these companies that want to do self-checkouts, because, you know, self-checkouts are going to be like a little screen that says, do you want a credit card? You're just going to hit the no button and keep going. You know, Are they going to fire the self-checkout because they didn't get a credit card? No.
Yeah, the thing is, me as a customer, when I go into a store, and this is just a little bonus topic for you, Steve, something I just thought about. Typically, I'm introverted. So when I go into a store, I want to go in, get the item that I want to get, check out, leave.
Yep.
I don't want to be harassed with, do you want this rewards program? No, I don't want 1,000 emails from y'all. It's garbage. It's not really that great. If we had to power rank some reward program, I mean, I would probably say the Kroger Plus card is probably the best, to be honest, but even that's not really worth it in the long run. But anywho, just a little side note. It's just like when you meet the cable guy, like from AT&T, is just sitting in the middle of the store trying to sell you a package. Yeah. Don't you love that one?
That's about as bad when they come knocking on your door and you don't want to talk to anybody anyway. And you're like,
yeah, exactly.
I mean, those AT&T people are like the Jehovah's Witnesses of like retail.
Oh yeah, for sure. Anybody in chat, just let me know how y'all feel about that. Like, how do y'all feel when you? That's just a little addict's question to you guys. How do you feel whenever you go to, for instance, you're going to electronics to go buy something, and you get stopped and get told, "What plan do you have?" Oh, excuse me, sir. When you're not even there for that, and it's like, why are you advertising this to me?
Well,
just just let me know what y'all think about that.
One thing I want to address real quick is Russell, item of the week or toy drive. Now, look, the toy drive was annoying because you had to ask people, but I can't really bitch about that because that was for a good cause. Because those toys went to military families, and we know they did. You know, that's different. You know, and at that point in time, everything we were selling was $1, so we're not putting people in debt, and that was for a good cause. I look and see who they are and tell them I have their service.
What's up, Lo?
But
that's exactly what I do, Jason.
it doesn't bother. Hey, Zakia,
that's
how
about
are you,
exactly what I
Pokemon
do.
trainer? It doesn't bother me in stores to be asked multiple times, but I hate it over the phone. Well, here's the thing about, being in the stores is you're in an environment where you're used to it and you understand. And that's the other thing too. A lot of us, we go into the stores and we get asked, and it doesn't bother us because we understand that these associates are doing what they're told to do. And that's not really the issue here. The issue here is it that important to keep people from advancing because of a credit card metric? And I personally, I think the credit cards are predatory, and here's why. All right, so I worked for a company, and honest to God, I'm not going to say the company, but the mantra there was no matter what amount these people were approved for, your goal was to have them spend that before they walked out the door. Now, this was, in my opinion, this was kind of high ticket merchandise and whatnot. So we're talking thousands of dollars. We're talking like one piece of merchandise could cost you $1,500 easy. But anyway, so that was the deal. And the reason why is because, this store, HSBC, was handling their credit. And all retailers are the same. Okay. If they get approved for $3,000 and they drop $3,000 right then and there, the company, the retailer, they've got their sale. If these people who got approved default on that card, guess what? Retailer don't care. They got their money. It's not their problem. And that's where the issue comes in play. So what happened at this store was we had a regular customer, super nice guy, maybe mid to late 20s, maybe early 30s. Very quiet, very kind of introverted and whatnot. And there was a credit card culture there. We had push, push, push. Well, this gentleman got pounded pretty hard and decided, hey, sure, I'll sign up for a credit card. And he did. And he got approved for $3,000. And he spent all $3,000 there. And he was ecstatic. He got his stuff and he left. The next day, this guy's mom shows up. He was mentally challenged. He had a disability. He didn't have the cognitive skills to understand what he was signing up for, and he didn't even have a job. So it turned into this big thing. She brought everything back that he bought. They had to refund it all, and then they had to get with HSBC and, get the card canceled and whatnot. But you've got employees who have been grilled that you've got to get these, that the humane side out of it, the humanity part of it, you're missing because all you see is a dollar sign and I need that to keep my job. And that's a problem. And you're right, Zakia. They will achieve goals. Now, I will say for that company, your margin of success is higher than most places because of what you sell and your clientele. That's true. Okay. But I've worked in places where you get the same spiel. You ask X amount of people, you'll hit this goal. You have to ask everybody because if you don't, somebody will say it's discriminatory. They'll tell you everything in the world as to why you can achieve these numbers. And there have been, honest to God, full shifts. I have watched great employees with great pitches go through the whole thing and not get one. And then when review time comes around and you fill out their review and say, hey, this employee deserves X amount, and then your district manager says, well, their credit card numbers suck. They must not be asking. Well, I'm up there watching because you tell us we have to. And the pitch is great. So that
I've gotten cussed out like so many times just for, hey, would you like to put this on your card? And yeah, why do you keep asking me that? That's harassment. And I'm like, okay. I'm just doing my job. I I don't necessarily like asking for it neither.
Right.
But, you know, they kind of sign my paycheck. And at the end of the day, if they tell me I have to do it for my job, then I need to try to at least do it. But, yeah.
You know, I don't have an issue with companies trying to make money. That's not the point here. The point here is if you got like an A+ employee that is hitting the marks on all metrics, and they don't hit the credit card one, and you're supposed to coach them and make them feel like shit, like they're not doing their job. That's bullshit. that's
the fuck today.
Yeah.
Ooh,
people making up so
that's
and that's a true statement. That happens because there's so much pressure put on some of these cashiers and some of these businesses. Not all of them. There's some business models out there that do great with it, and it's a perfect fit for what they do. Zakia, you work for one of those. It is a perfect fit for that, and it works well there. What happens is when you get retailers jump on that bandwagon thinking they can do the same thing and they can't, is where it becomes a problem, because they're chasing the goal to be like said company, and they're never going to get there because it's just a different clientele and a different way of thinking. To the guys who do it great,
typically,
awesome.
Yeah, typically people, the only places, just from my experience, if you work for a Walmart or something, good luck getting a credit card there. Because what are they going to charge their groceries on it? Like, or a TV?
But Alex,
they're not
but see,
there.
you're missing the point. That's not what they look at. They don't care if you're charging a pack of
Oh yeah, no, they don't care at all.
It's the point that, because the studies show people that have store credit cards spend more. Well, duh. It's money they didn't originally have.
It's because
because
it's money they don't have.
But that's the thing. That's the thing, Alex. It doesn't matter, because they want you to ask the person that's buying $1,000 worth of stuff, and they turn around and want you to ask to buy the person that's buying just a bag of combos, because they want them in that circle of where they have imaginary money they didn't have before.
Well, yeah,
and that's
exactly,
where it becomes predatory.
Now I've got a $3,000 limit. Now I can go buy a TV.
Right. Exactly. That they probably didn't need to begin with.
I know it. Every single retail Warzone, I always make fun of people buying TVs. Like, that's just going to become a joke from here on out. I do like TVs, and I respect you if you go out and buy TVs.
And yes, Jason, HSBC will rob you blind. They're probably one of the worst. I'm not a big fan of Synchrony either. The fuck, you know what I'm talking about. But Synchrony, look, it's a racket. It's a racket. And, you know, my biggest argument is, Mr. Denon, this became prevalent in retail in the U.S. It was around the 80s when Sears started it, and then everybody just jumped on the bandwagon because it's... The problem with store credit cards is the retailers understand that once they get those sales through the register, that's their money, and if this customer goes broke and this customer defaults, the retailer doesn't care because they've got their money in the till.
Yep. And yeah, it's like you say, Steve. So just so I can make sure I'm on the same page. Say I have $100 in my pocket.
Right.
But I really want, like, I walk into Walmart and I'm just staring at a PlayStation 5 that they just happen to have, right?
Mm-hmm.
They try to push that credit card on me, and then now I'm much more likely to just buy the PS5 with a credit card than saving up for it. And that's what they want, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what they want, because they don't care what happens afterwards. And, I mean, face it, credit card, you know, if you get approved for a Synchrony credit card, it's not like somebody from Synchrony is going to knock on your door and say, give me your PS5. It's just going to hit your credit. It's a vicious cycle. I mean, Zakia, that is perfect. You are 100% correct. Schools should teach people about credit, since not all families do. Yes, they should. They should and that's the other thing. Store credit cards, the interest rates are ungodly awful. Terrible.
Oh, yeah.
They're not beneficial to anybody.
It took me forever to pay off my GameStop one. don't ever get a GameStop credit card.
It's not just GameStop, Alex. I mean, they're pretty much like that all over the place.
Oof.
And, you know, I commend, look, I have something to say about this individual. Miss Kingston, you were a model of what a good manager is. I'm not saying that to win brownie points. You're great. And a lot of you guys are managers on here are the same way. Your spirit and your attitude is something that is infectious. And if there's anybody in this world that can succeed as this, it's you. And, you know, I appreciate you being here, and I appreciate your insight, because I know the business you work in is extremely credit driven. So I just wanted to say that. Same thing to you, Throat Punch. Yeah. Just want to let you know. I'm not forgetting you either.
Well, yeah, just in general, if you're a part of the retail war zone here on Wednesdays.
I know. I saw that promotion, Miss Kingston. Sorry, Alex.
No, you're good. You're good. But yeah, even if you're a manager and you're here on the retail war zone, just offering insight, good on you. You're a step above.
You know, and I just want to throw this out about Zakia too, Alex. She is probably one of the biggest Pokemon fans you will ever meet.
I semi like some Pokemon.
She's huge. She loves that.
I'd probably get destroyed.
Yeah,
because I know like Gen 1.
Yeah, she'd whack you. But yeah, Mr. Denon, it did become prevalent in the late 80s. Everybody jumped on top of it. And, you know, like I said, there are some financially responsible people out there that can make it work for them. But you're peddling debt. I mean, you really are. And it's, you know, for instance, at a place that sells overpriced patio furniture, the fuck today. You know, it was, well, you just responded. I'll be the first to admit that I was a horrible manager when it came to correcting an associate for not getting credit. You can't force anyone to get it. True. That's where my problem with all this comes. I think if it wasn't so militant and it didn't affect people like it did, because face it, man, in retail, you get a lot of introverts. All right. You really do. I mean, these are people that are just looking for a job, and they're timid enough as it is. And we ask our cashiers to do a lot. Now, all of a sudden, you got them in a room trying to train them to read a script to comfortably pitch a credit card to somebody. Some people are going to just suck at it, and it's never going to change. And that doesn't mean they're a bad employee. And that's my problem. These are good employees.
I mean,
and you're penalizing them for the most minute thing in the big, you know, scheme of things on all the stuff they can do.
I can't afford anything without a red sticker on it.
Hey, there's a lot of people like that right now. I mean, and it's okay. And, you know, my big thing is, I think one of the biggest things, and we have several managers that are in these chats, okay? We know how hard it is to keep good people, and it sucks when you lose one. Now imagine having great employees that eventually your bosses, who aren't in your store day to day, they start trying to get you to force people out the door because of a credit card metric. And you're thinking to yourself, there's no way in hell I could ever replace this person with a quality higher that match this. That's a problem, man. I'm not saying don't have credit cards. You know.
Oh, Steve, is that real?
What?
Hold up. Back that up. What you just said, is that real? Try to force someone out the door.
Yes, that's real, dude.
Credit card metric.
Especially if you wind up in a situation where you have a district manager that's on the hot seat. Like they say, shit rolls downhill. If you got a DM who's in jeopardy of losing their job, every single metric in his buildings or her buildings, it's going to be, oh, well, they need to show they're making changes. Oh, well, you've got this cashier that's been with you for 3.5 years, and she only gets one credit card a month, and you know, blah, blah, blah. I don't care if she shows up every day. I don't care if she stays late. I don't care if she's your most dependable. She's got to go. That shit happens, man.
Very real. It's all on reviews.
Yep.
Dude, I would give anything to be able to see some of my employee reviews.
Well,
Just
you
to
know,
see.
we talked about employee reviews. You know, employee reviews are worthless until they decide that when they start giving raises, they're in dollars and not cents. I'm sorry. That's bullshit. In this economy and how things are going and what the cost of living is, if you've got a good employee that the best they can rate is 25 cents on the dollar, shit. Bullshit. Pennies.
Wow, I'm honestly, I'm just kind of sitting here flabbergasted because I've always heard things like, oh, you know, they're trying to make you quit, you know, make you walk out the door. I didn't know that was actually like really
Dude,
real.
look, we're going to get into this in some other episodes, but I'll just go ahead and tell you, and some of these managers will confirm. All right? You will. Okay. I'm going to throw this out here, and God, I hope I don't offend anybody. I really don't. My last job, it was heavily implied.
Oh. Steve, I got to cut on and off the camera. I'm changing forms.
Okay. It was highly implied for me to get rid of everybody that was there. I didn't know anybody there. But I was told I needed to go clean house. Mr. Denon and I had a conversation about this via email past couple of days. You get put in those situations, you know, where that's not even his final form, Shadow Axe Kid. But you know, you get the fuck today, you know this. And there are many managers that have been through these chats that I'm sure you've had to do the same thing, where you're told you're taking over the store, but the staff sucks. You need to get rid of everybody. And
that's a real thing.
Yes, Alex, that's a huge real thing.
See, all right, chat. This is why I love being a part of this because, you know, I'm just the worker. Right? I've only worked retail. I mean, I was a supervisor at Walmart, but I mean, can't really count that. But wow.
It happens. And
I've heard things.
And you know, that's a horrible thing. And if you think about it from this standpoint, if you're not promoted from within, all right, so let's say you jump from one retailer to another, they have an opening. Well, they've got an opening for a reason. It's either that manager before you got fired or they left on their own. And when you take over this location, you take over all those problems. You may have a manager that got fired, and then that DM pulls you to the side and says, well, look, you know, you're going into the store with, and I love this because you get this all the time. That store has a lot of opportunity. Okay. And part of that opportunity is you need to get rid of everybody and get you a better staff. That's what you're told. It's happened several times to me. I mean, this isn't bullshit. I'm not lying. I mean, that I have had people tell me. I've had managers tell me, DMs look me straight in the face. Yeah, that's an underperforming store. The staff there completely sucks. You need to get rid of all of them.
We have much to teach you, young one. Apparently, I thought I knew a lot about retail, but wow.
And fun fact, if you have problems, untapped potential, yes. If you have problems in a store, most people will just transfer the problem instead of handling the problem. Eventually, some manager gets to inherit that shit. You take over a store from the outside and have the petty ass who is mad because they wanted position and will do everything. Yes. Oh, God. Maybe Monday when we have our like free for all chat, we'll just talk about drama, backbiting, and bullshit in retail and the amount of backstabbers and people that try to get people in trouble just because they didn't get promoted. That'll be a fun one. That'd take about 6 hours.
Oh yeah. Well, we're just mainly just gonna have a free for all. Yeah, on Monday we're just gonna be taking a lot of Q&A, but we'll be on until
yeah,
Wednesday.
Pretty much. But yeah, going back to what, we're talking about here with the credit cards and whatnot, there, like I said, there are businesses, and I'm aware of a couple of managers here that work for one that do it very, very well. And I will say in their market, I do want to just go on record as saying that you guys had it made where you're at because Greenville sucked. And there was a lot of bullshit and a lot of drama and a lot of chaos. And be glad where you're at, guys. If you ever get offered to go there, say no. Just saying. But now, on the no, the fuck today. This is a different store, different company. You North Carolina people, stay there. Don't come down here. Y'all get mad. Jason, you would kill somebody. I'm just telling you right now. But yeah. So credit cards, predatory. Where are you at now? Are you still?
We talk.
Do what now?
I was gonna say, now we speak on rewards cards.
Rewards cards. Now, okay, this is what I have to say about rewards cards. Grocery store rewards cards rule. Ingles Advantage card is awesome. Yes, you would throw out throat punches like candy. Yes, sir. That's a true statement. Yeah, see, beautiful area too, man. Congrats. Stay. But yeah, Ingles Advantage reward cards are fantastic. If you guys have an Ingles around you and you do not shop them, I'm a big proponent for them. I think if you went down the line through your grocery list, you would find that you would come out cheaper than most other places. Other rewards cards. The thing about rewards card is that's the 1-2 punch. So it's like, okay, I'm going to offer this person a credit card. So not only have you pressured this poor cashier, who may be the most introverted person on the face of the planet, to not have to go through this 3-shot credit card pitch, but then when they get told no 3 times and they already feel shitty because they've been told no, they have to be like, well, we do have a rewards card that blah, blah, blah. It's like, how long does the fucking checkout experience has to damn take?
Oh, I'm not even going to lie to you. One time, one of our managers at Felmart, I was a young man when I worked at Felmart, just turned 18. Just a little backstory on me for y'all. Yes, I was 18, Steve, by the way.
God, you only look like you were 12, but anyway.
Oh, I kept on getting the joke of, they let children work here? Oh my God. I'm 18. But, you know, growing up, I was homeschooled. I didn't really do public school. You look 18 now, I'm actually 28.
Yes, that's a true statement. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, I look young. Like, I'm actually an old man, though. It's kind of insane. But, yeah, I homeschooled. So I was in public school. Didn't really have much of a social life back then.
It showed, just to let you know.
About a week into my first job at Felmart there, we had a manager, and she made me just cry like a baby.
Is it that manager?
Alex, it's not that.
I need you.
No.
Oh, so it's a different manager.
No. It's Staples.
Staples.
Monopoly money.
I don't know. he hold up. Jason says he ain't been in retail long enough to show. The longer you're in, the older you look. You're right. He's not in it anymore.
Oh, that's what aged me from 12 to 18 looking now.
Yeah, retail made him hit puberty.
Oh yeah, no kidding. I used to literally not even cuss or anything.
Thanks there.
Working in retail.
Today. Appreciate that.
Whew. But yeah, as I was saying, yeah, Staples and Monopoly money. Think about that. Wired it.
Oh.
Yes, sir.
Where in time, like, Miss San Diego?
Mm-hmm.
Rhymes with Charmin.
Yeah.
Where in time, it's Charmin, San Diego.
But she told me,
Wait a minute.
you know,
She made you
you're
cry?
doing a. Oh yeah, no, because she walked up to me and was like, "You're doing a bad job.
Whoa,
You need to
whoa,
go
oh, come on,
ahead."
man. Seriously? That one
Yeah,
did?
dude.
No, if you told me it was the other
Yes.
one, I'd believe you. But that one? That's kind of like
No,
a
dude. Like I
garden
said,
gnome coming up to you, like hitting you in the
I,
shin.
dude, I literally, like I said, I had like no social. Like I just wanted. I was like, oh my god, I'm failing at my job.
My
This is my first time. I'm gonna
12-year-old
get
is more
fired.
intimidating than that person. But anyway, continue.
Oh, dude. Now I would tell her where she could go so fast, so fast.
To
It's
fuck
not a
today,
work
yeah.
day if I don't make someone
I
cry.
know you. That's a true statement. She's like the juggernaut of retail.
Oh my god. But, she told me, you gotta get these credit cards and you gotta get this rewards card. You gotta tell people if they have to get it. You gotta ask them 3 times. And ever since like that moment, I've been scarred from rewards cards / credit cards. That's why I personally
I just like in the grand scheme of things, that person proved to be a very shady fucking individual. I just want to leave that there.
Mm-hmm.
Karma's a bitch.
Most definitely. But now if I worked at Felmart, like current day me, I would look at her and tell her.
Yeah, but that's because our Bama friend and myself, we toughened you up. You won't take that shit no more.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Oh, I'm a completely different me.
Yeah.
Than I was back then. Like, oh my god. But that's just a little backstory on me with some rewards cards fiascos.
Well, I mean,
even though I did get 27 that next day.
I mean,
just to prove a point that I could do it.
Rewards cards, I mean, honestly, well, credit cards and rewards cards. I mean, let's face it. Let's be real here. It's information digging. Every bit of every bit of information the retailer can get from you, you get targeted marketing. It's like, oh, they do things they've got bots that are so advanced that, they can look at all your transactions and say, well, this person typically likes to buy these kind of things. And then you get emails showing that, oh, here's this thing that we think you might be interested in. And
Steve, I'll do you one better.
What's that?
Have any of y'all in chat just type yes or no? Have y'all ever just said out loud, hey, I think I need new tires?
Are you getting ready to talk about the cell phones?
It's actually voice activated cookies. Those are a real thing.
Yeah, well, that's a totally different thing. But yes, that's real. But that it all ties in. I mean, it really does.
And
credit cards, reward cards, cell phones, whole 9 yards. You are just selling your information. Is all you're doing.
Yep, 100%. Because, and especially, you install any of those apps.
Facebook is a stalker,
phone.
Yes.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. But that's why you'll all of a sudden get super targeted ads toward you.
Yeah.
But I'm going to teach y'all a little secret. Just clear your cookies. Clear all your cookies. And then they know nothing about you.
But you know what? But here's the thing. You can't clear your cookies when you sign up for rewards cards because they got your info. And you digitally signed to say it was okay that they had your info.
Mm-hmm.
So, and like I said...
You can get around it, though.
But...
You can get
but here's the thing. I mean, it's... Look, credit is an option that everybody deserves to have. So I want to make something very clear here. I'm not against people getting credit. Okay? I'm not against people getting rewards cards. I'm coming from an employee advocacy kind of scenario that of all the things you should judge an employee on, those two should be the least. And
exactly,
because you run people off. I mean, you have to resort to the craziest, stupid shit to get people involved. Like the last job I had that did credit cards. All right, the fuck today is going to comment here shortly on this. We had, I came up with a system, all right? Because this store had struggled. Thank you. This store had struggled so hard for so many, since they rolled this thing out, all right? How were we going to make it fun? So we had credit cards and the reward cards. So me being as creative I can and trying to make it ridiculously fun, ridiculously funny, and kind of in an evil way. So don't think for a minute that I didn't get a giggle out of this. So we named them. So credit cards became donuts, and our reward system were called perks. So what goes with donuts? Coffee. And I had this board that every week I had who had the most donuts and who had the most coffee. I downloaded a Word document that was like a certificate of achievement. Every week, whoever got the most donuts or whoever had the highest percentage of perks got this award, and we posted them all over the wall. But guess what, Amanda? It worked. It worked. And it was painful because you have to walk around on your walkie. Hey, who's going to get me the first donut today? Yada, yada, yada. And if anybody knows me, you know how painful that was for me to say that. But it worked. And, and that's kind of where this comes into play, because I had an associate who was older, and she was great at this. She always got the donut award. Always. Fantastic. But people wanted to complain. And I'm like, damn it. She shows up when I need her to. She's hitting the numbers. Leave her the fuck alone. It's like, whatever. Yeah, Jason, it does. You have to she was a little hateful and forceful. I don't think so. I will stand up for her to the day I die. I don't think so at all. I think it was a difference between being a northern person and a southern person. That's exactly what it was. But Jason, you're right. It does work. You have to make it fun. You have to take the credit out of it. You have to take the rewards out of it. You've got to make it something kind of silly to get people on board. Because then you create this excitement about how, oh, well, I don't want this cashier to get more donuts than me and blah, blah, blah. And it does work. Pressure is the wrong way. You're correct. And that's what ruins what you do. Your manager will come in and say, hey, well, I think this donut thing's great and yada, yada, yada. And you've improved numbers and blah, 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 blah. But you've got to go tell this person they suck. Fuck off, man. No, I don't. This is a work in progress, bro. Oh, but they always say, don't reward them for doing their job. Yes, we heard that a lot. A lot.
Don't reward them for doing their job.
Yes, because not all. Like I said, we got some people here that's different for them, and they have a better environment where they're at. All right, and that's great. But in the environment that's being discussed at this moment in time, if somebody got their credit card numbers, instead of celebrating the fact they got their credit card numbers, it was more like, hey, great job doing your job.
I'm just going to make a side note here, Steve. My hair has gotten more and more messed up as this stream is gone.
Okay. That's random, but okay. But yeah. So yeah.
Stress.
Okay.
Stress.
Let me know. What's the little man? You got like a little doll or something? We had a donut pillow for a while.
Lamau.
But yeah, I mean,
don't reward them for doing their job.
But once again, the whole situation here, this isn't about whether or not offering credit's right or wrong. It's not about whether a retailer should have it. It's about how should you treat your employees over it. And, the problem that we have with this is I've said this in a couple of other episodes. Find what your people are good at and let them be good at it. But we're far too quick to want to fire somebody because they're not hitting credit card numbers instead of figuring out maybe we could use them somewhere else. And that's where all these conversations really tie into. My whole goal with what we do here is to be an advocate for the associates, not the managers, because I know what us managers go through. I know the stresses, and what I try to do is give policies and procedures to kind of show why things are a certain way, because you have associates that are completely in the dark, and they don't understand why the decisions are being made that are being made. So what I try to do is, for instance, the payroll episode. Why do customers complain about there's nobody in the stores? It's not that cashier's fault. It's giving people the knowledge to understand why things are the way they are. And, the associates that we've had in our buildings, we expect a lot out of them. And quite frankly, in a lot of situations, we expect more than what they can give. And that's wrong. And, in a job market that's terrible, where we're in a world where unemployment, the actual real rate is going to be, 10% or higher. You need everybody in your building that you have to survive. And somewhere, somehow, somebody's got to stand up and say some of these frivolous bullshit metrics that you're trying to grill people for aren't really that important. We need people to run the business. And, it's just one of those things. There are so many great employees out there worldwide that have been subjected to these kind of things and have been told that they're substandard and whatnot, that could have been really good employees for people, but they were told otherwise over metrics and greedy bullshit. As far as I'm concerned, the way it should be is, sure, you could grill somebody for not asking for credit. That's fine. But look, there's more important things going on in your building from a day-to-day basis than whether somebody gets a credit card. That needs to be the lowest thing on your list of yelling at associates for. Okay? Your store gets wrecked. Your payroll gets cut. You've got very minimal people in the building. You've got somebody that's a great associate for you that can clean up everything just like that. But then they didn't get a credit card, and you got to tell them they suck. Nah, man.
Yeah, you didn't get a credit card.
That's bullshit.
Yeah. You do everything well, but... Oh...
See, Alex, you just had to deal with it at Felmart. You haven't dealt with it in, a larger environment. All right. And I get it. I mean, it's okay. I mean, there's nothing wrong with companies wanting to make money, but stepping on your employees for the sake of making money, that's a fucking problem.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I'm doing this mess. I'm sick of seeing the little guy get stepped on for greed. These are human beings we're dealing with, and they need to be treated with respect. And if you've got somebody that's an A+ associate all the way across the board, and you have a district manager who looks you straight in the face and tells you have to tell this person they're not doing their job over a credit card, that's some bullshit. And it will always be bullshit.
You go tell them.
It will always be bullshit. I don't care. So
that's why I hate DMs, and that's why I hate corporate, because, you got to go do my dirty work because I don't want to.
That's exactly correct. What happens in the course of being in retail management, this is something I said earlier, is you do things that are ethically wrong because you're led to believe that that's your job, when the reality is you're doing somebody else's job that doesn't have the balls to do it.
Yep.
That's exactly what it is. Because you're a brand new store manager. You take over a location and you're told that Sally Joe cashier is terrible and she needs to get gotten rid of. And you say, well, how long's she been here? 6 years. Oh. So why am I the guy that has to do it? You're the DM. Why can't you fucking fix it? Because you're chicken shit. And you think that's below your pay grade.
Oh yeah, well,
Steve,
what you get paid to do.
did you ever consider transferring, or were you tired of retail in general? I know not all stores are comfortable. You know, my journey's a little different. You know, overall, I've been doing this for about 30 years. And there reaches a point in everyone's career, and it's going to happen to everybody. It'll happen to you at some point, okay? That you realize the rules and the things you're asked to do are terrible from a humanity standpoint. And we're all in this together. Look, it doesn't matter what your pay scale is. It doesn't matter what walk of life you come from. Everybody's out there trying to survive right now. Everybody's trying to make their way.
Yeah.
And in my career, all 30 years of it, yes, you have bad employees. I get that. But I've seen far too many good people get screwed to have any confidence in the business. And yes, the environment was different where I went to for said same company, but it was the most toxic thing I have ever been involved in my entire career. And had it not been a money issue and an ego issue, trying to, do whatever, I probably would have walked away from retail from that experience alone. I'm not going to get a lot into it, but that building over there was the most toxic piece of shit I've ever been in my life. And the fact that you had upper management that was fully aware of the bullshit that was going on and didn't do anything about it. There's a theory behind that too. There's a theory that there's some things that people were holding others' heads. Just totally terrible. Totally. But I'm in a good place now. I look at it, the things I've done in my career. There's people I've been told to run off that I shouldn't have because I was quote unquote doing my job. I just think retail as a whole is a dirty business. Every building is different. Okay. You may have like this perfect utopia of a store. And it happens every once in a while. I will tell you, the first store that I ran for Jesus's Craft Store, I had the most amazing staff. We had the most amazing success. And it was about damn near perfect. Those come along. All right. But eventually that changes. And I'm kind of a nomad. I would get bored, where you kind of reach a point like you're like, I've accomplished what I can accomplish here, and that's it. Because I never had any desire to be a DM. None whatsoever. I really enjoyed merchandising. That's really what I was in it for. But there comes a time when you change and you become more pro associate than you do pro your career. And when you become pro associate, your view on all of it changes. It becomes more like, wow, we're paid big dollars to treat people like shit. And I just couldn't do it anymore. And don't want to do it anymore. I mean, hell, I took a job, my last job, thought was going to be my dream gig. But was implied to me, you got to go run these people off. And I'm like, what the fuck, man? I mean, it's like, really? This isn't that serious. And, it wears on you. And, look, retail as a whole, and when we get into our next topic on Wednesday, I've got stats, I've got charts, I've got research. Retail's a dirty, dirty fucking business. And it will continue to be a dirty, dirty fucking business until it gets regulated somehow, some way. There's a reason why, guys, you get training on, if you hear the word union, you got to pick up a phone and call somebody. Because the worst thing that all retailers fear is someone else controlling how associates are treated. And that's fact. All right. Do your research. And it's one of those deals where, I got sick of seeing good people get ran over. And I got sick of good people who couldn't get bigger raises than a quarter. you know, because the company says, oh, it doesn't fit within our budget. Well, then fuck you. You know, I'm not bitter about my time in retail. It did me fine. All right. There were things I didn't like, but I am bitter about how there's such a separation between store level and corporations that, once again, go back and watch the other videos if you have not. We worked, or I did, I was in an industry where the workforce is a controllable expense, not an asset. And until that changes, there's a problem. When you have a profit and loss statement that shows payroll is your number one line item as a controllable expense, which are the people that help operate your building, until they become a fixed expense, it's not going to change. Be glad that you work in a company that provides adequate payroll. It's not, I'm sure you guys wish you had more. But trust me, y'all get leaps and bounds more than any other retailer I've ever seen, and you better hope it never changes.
I got told today to cut payroll because sales are down. I get my truck tomorrow. What do you want me to cut? Oh, you got to cut off the people unloading the truck. And you don't need them.
And we're going to get
don't need those.
That comment right there. We're going to get into that in a couple of episodes later. Guess who that falls on? Oh, you got to cut payroll, but the shit still got to get done. So who's got to do it? The store manager.
Mm-hmm.
You burn out.
Yeah, because guess what?
And trust me,
you're a part of that payroll.
If there's anybody watching this video, watching this stream that has a perfect situation, hold on to it as long as you can. Because eventually, if you venture out of that bubble, you're going to find out what it really is. And you're going to be very pissed off because your life will be over. Some of you are in situations that are really, really good right now, and that's great. And I love it for you because I'm glad there are some people who you don't realize it, but you're gaming the system. All right. You're doing your jobs. You're doing them well. You're in a great utopia of a store that is fantastic. Stay there, man. Don't go. Don't fall victim to this. Hey, we got this store that's got a lot of opportunity. Go fix it. Don't do it. Because what happens is that fixer becomes you. You age, you get tired, and you burn out. And I'll say this. I mean, I have given my life for 30 years for this shit. And it made me a kind of person I wish I wasn't. And because it really does make you hate people. And that's a shame. And over the past year, I've got to kind of shake that off a little bit. And, it's great. But once you're able to be in a situation where you reflect, you realize how shitty it really is. And I'm just not a big proponent of treating people like shit in the workplace. I mean, you need everybody you can get. And, if they serve a purpose and they're good for you, keep them. Don't let credit cards be the reason they go. That's fucking stupid.
Hence why Steve and I decided to start this whole Generation Void podcast to begin with.
It's
give people a place to talk about this kind
of stuff. Right. And the dynamic between Alex and I is this. All right. So I've been I've been in retail 30 years. I've been in management for 25. Okay. I started when I was 18. My only advice to everybody is go to college, get your education. Don't do this. Okay. Alex has been on the employee side of it. Alex was one of our employees at Felmart. I know him well. He was a great employee. He wasn't able to get a raise because of how corporate operated for 3 years, but the purpose here is to say, all right, so let's go from a customer standpoint. You've got a Karen or somebody who wants to bitch about every time I go into a store, I can't find anybody to help me. All right. Well, if you go back and watch the video about payroll, what I try to do is explain why that is and why Karen shouldn't be bitching, because this is how we operate. And if you want to bitch, that's fine. pick up your phone and call the corporate office and leave the store employees alone because they're just doing what they're told to do. Alex
Hey, Steve.
is also that person who was the employee involved in that, so he can confirm. So that's kind of what we do. It's like a yin and yang kind of thing. Wednesday is going to be a lot different. Wednesday, look, I want everybody that's watching to understand that Wednesday is an important deal for me, and I will tell you why real quick before we finish up here. You know, I'm married. My wife's had to deal with it through the years. Some of you females out there, you've had to deal with it. There's a problem in retail with men and women. There's a problem in retail on how you're paid. There's a problem in retail on how you're treated. There's a problem in retail on how you're looked at. And we're going to talk about that next week. So I want anybody that's watching us for the first time to be here next week for that. I will give my store manager, side of that, because the one thing I will let you in on, a little hint, is you may walk into a building and you've got a female and a male that are doing the same job. One's making more than the other. And you see that, you inherit it, and you go to your DM and you say, hey, this person's making such and such, this person's making such and such, but they're doing the same job. And they get the benefit of telling you, well, they've been with us a while now. We have to go through the review system. So they've got a built-in excuse. But anyway, thank you guys for being here tonight. We're sitting at an hour 7. Going to get off here real quick. This has been fun. Next week it's important. All right. So bring people along. It has the potential to be ugly, has the potential to go over an hour next week. We'll go as long as we need to go. We'd like for people to be involved in the chat. We'd like for people to send us information so we can go over it. It's going to be a lot of fun. It could be a little touchy, but we'll see who's got balls and who don't. So.
And send us video submissions. If you want to have a video message and keep anonymous, please.
Here's the thing: you can't send a video. You can't send a video and be anonymous, Alex.
Oh, you can. There's face mask. There's hoodies.
Thanks, Zakia. I appreciate it. Hey, Zakia, you're mask. Hold on, Spat. Zakia, you're a superstar. You keep doing what you're doing. Catch them all.
Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, you've been an MVP in chat tonight. Thank you.
But go ahead.
Yeah, they can always wear a mask.
Well, here's the thing. If anybody out there, and this doesn't have to be a negative thing. If anybody out there if you've got a positive story or a negative story, all right? We use Skype to do this, all right? If you want to use your computer, what we can do is we can have you on and we can have just a picture up. We don't have to have your face if you don't want to be up. But if you want to be anonymous, you're going to have to find some way to change your voice. We can't do it on our end. But we'll bring people on. Now, if you've got an extremely positive story that is not going to affect you in any way, shape, or form, hey, we'll bring you on. Anybody that wants to come on and talk, come on, we'll do it. I mean, Alex and I started this with our own ideas and things that we want to talk about, but the purpose of this is to have other people involved. It's not just about listening to Alex and I talk. We want to have a conversation. We want to have a community. We want to have the good, the bad, the ugly, all that. So, it's community input's really what's going to make this something cool, not just Alex and I rambling. And so if you know anybody or if you want to, hit us up, man. We'll work it out. We'll put up a picture of a seal if you want us to, and then find a way to change your voice and let you talk. We'll do it. And, chat interaction is great. It's good seeing a lot of you guys here. It's good having your input because, these stories aren't one-sided. Everybody has their own opinion. Everybody has their own experiences, and it's important to get that conveyed because, like I said, retail isn't bad for everybody. Oh
yeah,
it's not.
And on the subject of next week, where we're going to talk about male and female differences in pay. If you have a positive story on there, we also want to hear that.
Yeah. And like I said,
if we want to hear that you were compensated correctly,
correct.
We want to hear that too.
And
because there is some good people in this world still. There is some good retailers. I watch when I can. I usually close on Wednesdays. That's why we got YouTube.
Yep.
You can always catch us on YouTube.com.
And if you have not,
thegenerationvoid.
And if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please hit that red button. It helps out a lot.
And you can join. You can comment. Leave us a comment on there. I go through those like literally every day, like obsessively.
And
and
guys, on those comments or on the Reddit or via email or whatnot, send us something that you want to talk about. Yeah, I mean, we don't just have to do whatever Alex and I choose. If there's a topic in retail that you think deserves to be talked about, let us know. We'll do it. We don't care. We ain't got nothing better to do.
Oh yeah. No, yeah, we're perfectly fine with just hosting you.
Yeah, I mean,
just letting you do your thing.
We could put you right here in the middle of the screen, right? And we just sit back and let you roll. That's fine. We're all right with that. Just bring your friends when you're on, let them know that you're going to be famous. But yeah, so yeah, it's cool. And, it's cathartic for me. I've had some good runs in retail. I've had some bad. But not everybody's mileage is the same. So, I just hope to enlighten people to understand the cogs in the machine that make things the way they are. And for instance, you've got an associate who doesn't get the raise they want, and they want to be mad at their manager. They need to understand it really wasn't their manager most times. So,
Steve, do you have a Nightbot command for the our Reddit?
No, not yet. But if you look in the ticker down below, it says join us at r/the_retail_warzone on Reddit.
Oh yeah, but nobody's gonna type that. So I got y'all. I got you.
Oh, there he goes.
If y'all want to go,
there you go.
If y'all want to go to the Reddit.
Bingo. So we thank you guys for being here. Hold up a second. What you got?
Well, just
send an interesting link in the info. Click the reward cards to Reddit page. Frightening. Check it out. All right. Okay. Why start a stock crew at 5 when you ain't getting 90% till 9? Russell. We will get into stock crews in a few weeks. That's on the list. So get your questions ready. But anyway, thank you everybody who watched tonight. Thank you for everybody who participated in the chat. Zakia, Jason, you guys are top notch. Kira's not here tonight. I kind of thought she would be. She's top notch as well. You guys keep doing what you're doing. I really enjoyed my time working with you guys. Defuck today. I'll be in contact with you. We're going to get you on here shortly. We just got to figure out how to switch your voice. And other than that, guys, bring people along for Wednesday night. It's going to be a big deal. So everybody have a great night.
I do have something I want to say real quick. This is not the obligatory self-plug.
I was waiting.
I'm staying away from that this episode. This is actually not that. This is actually kind of a joke. Would y'all be down for a 24-hour live stream on Black Friday?
Absolutely fucking not. I started this thing. I'm putting my foot down. That's not going to happen. However, the majority of our viewers will unfortunately be working that day, sir. Yeah, exactly. Look, you got the fuck today, so wound up not bot cussed at her. No. Now, we will do something for Black Friday. So, but we'll figure out what that is. But we're not doing no 24-hour bullshit, Alex. Alex, you need to understand we're not a gimmick channel. We're providing good, accurate content. We're not doing that shit here. Just letting you know.
Oh yeah, no, I just wanted to meme with that just real quick.
All right, guys.
Because I would make it 8 hours in and.
Yeah, exactly. All right, guys. I want to give a special shout out to Zakia and Jason. It was great seeing you guys today. Glad you guys were here. You defuck today, Russell. It is what it is. Retail baby, he is beautiful. Beautiful. All right, guys. So we'll see you next time Monday night. We just gonna sit and chat and hang out. No topics. You want to come and just kind of talk shit? Let's go. Alex, you got anything else you want to add real quick before we shut it down?
Fuck credit cards and rewards cards.
Spoken like a true champion. All right, guys. Everybody have a great night. We'll see you next time.